Hey guys, I know it's been a long time coming for this video, but I wanted to share with you guys my Kona experience, what went well, what didn't go well, and just my overall thoughts and feelings during and after the race. A little bit of backstory, which most of you probably know. I gave up tennis at the start of this year to try and do an Ironman. I hadn't rode a bike before. You had to ride a bike, but I hadn't rode a bike, like, if you know what I mean. And I hadn't swam in over 12 years. 4 months into my journey, I did the Port Macquarie Ironman, but the swim was cancelled, which was very unfortunate. So I still had never done a triathlon before, which everyone made very clear to me. But I was fortunate enough to win my age group and qualify for Kona, as they still awarded the time slots. 10 months into my journey, showed up at Kona World Championships, which was absolutely crazy. First thing I noticed getting there, it was so bloody hot, which obviously was to be expected, but I think it kind of hits you harder when you've had a whole winter before that. Anyways, arrived at Kona, got all my bag ready. I was fortunate enough to be a part of the Athletes Ambassadors program. This is a panel where around 6 athletes share their stories and hopefully inspire someone else to do something hard and maybe even challenge themselves to do an Ironman as well. It was pretty weird to me because they were filming me and they're like, do your thing and we'll just follow you around, and it's like I had imposter syndrome a little bit, and I felt a little bit weird because I was at the World Championships and I hadn't done a triathlon before. I guess coming from tennis, doing triathlon now, it's a story, and I have worked so hard to be where I was, and I was grateful for that opportunity. So that was pretty cool, them doing that. When I arrived in Kona, it was also the first time I was doing an open water swim in the ocean, and really open water swim properly, like having a real crack at it. I was fortunate enough to meet this super nice people at the start, and I went with them. I just stuck on the back of their feet, and I think for a start that was really good, but I probably should have looked up every now and then just to make sure I knew where I was going, and I didn't do that. I just, my eyes were glued to their feet. It was okay. It was pretty good. I was quite happy with how it went. I think obviously going with them really helped because the day before the race, I went out for a swim on my own, and it was later in the day, the waves were coming over and it was so bad. Like I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I was getting smashed by waves. I was swallowing all the water. My arms were like so sore. So I was like, shit. I got out of the water. I think I only maybe swam 7 minutes. I wasn't going to get any better in that swim. So I just called it a day there. I was pretty tired. It made me a little bit worried because it wasn't a confidence booster at all, but tried to forget about that and, on the day, be fine. The morning of the Ironman, it was actually hectic. I've never done that before, and it was just crazy. So many people were around. I get to this part and they're like, once you go through here, you can't come out, so you won't see your family again. And I was like, a bit panicky. I was like, okay. So I went and said goodbye to my family and then walked in. I did check my tires on my bike because they did say because of the heat they can pop. I checked my tires and they were all good, but I didn't check my helmet or the chain, which I'll get into later. I was running to the bathroom because I was so nervous. I found this girl and we kind of just stayed waiting for our race. Completely forgot to put on sunscreen, which was such a rookie mistake, but we live and we learn. We swam out to this start line and we had to tread water for 5 minutes. Yeah, it was low-key tough. At 7:30, the race started. Everyone just took off. I have a video of it, I'll play it right now. I was getting kicked and swam over the top of, and that experience was just something in itself. But the start of the swim, I could already feel the chafing on the back of my neck, and when they came around, I didn't know where you'd put the Vaseline, so I was like, no, I don't need any, but obviously now I know, and I probably could have looked up where to put that, but I didn't. Anyway, the swim, it was so pretty. There was fish swimming everywhere. The water was clear, which is very handy for me because at least I could kind of see where I was going in a way. Anyways, we all started off as a group, but as the race went on, everyone would kind of spread out. So there were parts of the race where I'm swimming by myself, and at one point I stopped and just looked around and I couldn't see anyone, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm low-key panicking, but I reminded myself it's okay and just swim to the buoy. So spot the buoy, swim to the buoy, look for the other one, and that's kind of what happened. I think it's really inevitable to have negative thoughts and feelings sometimes, and during the swim, I was like, this actually like sucks. You know, it's whether or not you give in to those thoughts and feelings or not. And it was tough, but that's why I did it, for it to be tough. I finished the swim in around an hour, 15 minutes. My chip said that I finished it in an hour, which my family were like, oh my God, she killed that. Like, I would have almost won my age group in the swim if I got that time, but then I just didn't move for 15 minutes and they're like, what's going on? I did it in an hour and 15 minutes and I was very, very happy with that, considering my lead up to it and how I felt in the water. Finished the swim, ran to my bike, and because I was part of the Athletes Ambassadors program, they were filming me, so they're running with me as I'm getting my bike and all that, and I go to put my helmet on and my glasses just break off. And like, I couldn't fix it. Like, I don't even know what happened to them, but there was no getting them back on. And the like cameras in my face, and they were like, yeah, like, go, like, you're doing so good. And I was like looking at them, I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. I just put my helmet on. I was like, if a bug lands in my eye, like, I'm just gonna eat shit. So I just prayed for the best. My bike skills were already a bit how you going at the start, but had to forget about that. Anyways, ran my bike out. They're still filming me, and then I get to the bike start line. I look and my chain is off, which is fine. It's like no biggie really, but just a little bit of an inconvenience, and it didn't take me too long to put it back on. Managed to fix that. I'm glad it was that, because if it was a tire, I wouldn't have been able to fix it. Really got to get on my shit with that. Starting the bike, I took off and my legs were shot. My heart rate was like 175. I was going around 23 kilometers an hour, and the goal was to try and get like 30 kilometers an hour. I was like, holy shit, like, I am not doing well. Like, my legs are already shot. But after 10 minutes, I got used to it, and I did remind myself in the race, like, I had never felt this feeling before. It's normal and it'll get better, and it did. I was so happy with the bike. Did it in 5 hours and 40 minutes, which is over 30 minutes better than my time 4 months ago, my previous Ironman. And this course was like obviously so hard. Going down those hills, like, I think my traps were the most sore the next day because I was holding on for dear life. I was going like 60k down the hills, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually kind of crazy. A bit intimidated at the bike at the start. So much better in that race, and I was confident. I was doing really, really well, and finishing that in that time I was super happy with. So after the swim, I was 38th out of the water, and after the bike I was 15th. So I overtook so many people, and super happy with that. The winds were very brutal. Like, I could feel my bike like shaking, so I held on extra tight with that. And obviously the sun was cooking on my arm because all the blisters and everything. I enjoyed it so much. The lava fields were so cool. Like the views you had when you were riding was super nice. And anyways, finishing the bike, I saw my family there, got my shoes on for the run, and I was honestly aiming to get a 3:30 run. And the first 7k, I was on track for that, but I was pretty shot. Probably knew at K3 that I wasn't going to keep that pace. And it's insane the feelings and emotions you feel during that time, because you're like, I really want to stop, but I have to run a marathon. Willpower and determination to do that when you really, really want to stop is just something I look at everyone around me who's doing it as well and admire. It's just so awesome to see a whole bunch of women there, like, pushing themselves to the limit and doing something so incredibly hard. I was running up the hill and my family were there, and in the Port Macquarie Ironman, I had a smile on my face. I was enjoying it, such a good time. And this time I just kind of looked at them wanting to cry because I was in so much pain, but just no tears were coming out. And when I'm in that situation and really want to stop, I just remind myself that it's going to end. Like, I'm not going to feel this way forever. The end feeling of finishing is going to outweigh all of this. Time will pass as each step goes in front of the other. It was just a matter of time, and I just had to keep going. So there was no way that I was ever going to stop. But again, those thoughts and feelings are normal sometimes. It's just whether you choose to listen to them or not. The end part of that race was extremely tough, especially going down into the lava fields. I forgot what it was called, but it was hot. Like, I looked at my arms as well, and it was such a massive line, like color difference, because I was already so burnt. And coming back, probably 10k to go, I was like, okay, like I'm almost there, just have to keep going. And then when you're like 3k 4k out, you can hear all the cheering and the music and everything, and I think that's the moment where you almost forget about all the pain you feel, and the adrenaline even more so kicks in. And then passing my dad, and he's like, if you keep going, like you're gonna get a sub-11. And from then I just kind of like, all pain was gone and I took off. I think I ran my fastest K at the end, but picked up under 5-minute paces then, and just enjoyed the moment as much as I could. It was so surreal running down that red carpet to finally say that I had done an Ironman and be called that, and crossing that line where they give me the towel. I look back, I got sub 11 hours for my first ever triathlon. It was actually bloody awesome. The medal, which I have here, so it's a really cool medal. It's actually so heavy, definitely something that I will keep for life. Not gonna lie, I was shot after that. Like I was in so much pain, like I wasn't feeling good at all. They said, oh, you can sit here, and pointed to the grass, and I looked at them and I was like, I don't even think I can get on the ground right now. Like my legs are like, couldn't even feel them. They were shaking, they were so fatigued. And then I just wanted to get everything over and done with so I could go see my family. Like, we got to get your finisher photo, and I started crying, and they're like, are you sure you want to get it now? And I was like, yeah, just take it. And I was holding up my medal and I was smiling, but like my eyes were so red. It makes it more memorable, I guess. I did have to sit down for about 30 minutes to just try and feel a little bit better. They put some hot chips in front of me and some soup in front of me, but I couldn't fathom the thought of eating something. I was drinking, and I think having those electrolytes back in really helped. I walked back out to my family and I saw my mum and dad, and then I just started crying even more. First thing after, just hugging my mum and dad, sharing that moment with them just made me so happy. And my brother Jack and his girlfriend Jules, it was amazing, and their support was just insane. They actually had t-shirts with my name on it, and my dog, who usually comes everywhere with me, they had that. They were wearing it the whole time. Just loved it so much. After that, I just took in the experience. We went, watched a few other people finish, got some food, which I was starting to feel hungry at that point, so pretty much went home to bed, and I think I slept maybe 2 hours. The adrenaline, and obviously I was so sore. I did get 16th in the world for my age group. I had a goal to get top 10, but I think my goal was to get top 10 because I looked at previous year's times, and to get in the top 10 they all got below an 11:20. So I think in my head I was like, oh, if I get a below a 11:20 I could get top 10. I guess I just made my goal top 10. Finishing the race in 10 hours and 56 minutes. I think I was so happy with that. Like, it didn't matter what position I got. Having a sub-11 for my first Ironman, I was very proud of myself, and obviously very different courses. The one in Nice, the winner there got 11 hours and 9 minutes. This year was obviously very, very tough. Again, you can't compare courses there, but I was just so grateful to run on that stage with so many other amazing athletes. The next morning, I woke up. I was extremely sore and tired, and I was very uncomfortable. I had really bad chafing everywhere, especially under my chest was, back of my neck. Yeah, I just had little scratches everywhere. My arms were fried. I looked at even my legs weren't too bad. They still blistered and peeled, but nothing like my arm. It wasn't the best feeling at all. It's honestly crazy as well, because during the race I did have thoughts that were like, why am I doing this? I never want to do this again. I should have stuck to tennis. I cannot wait for this to be over. I think every negative thing that you could think of, I was thinking, but at the same time, I was also thinking, I'm going to do this the best I can. Like, I worked so hard for this, and there's no way I'm not finishing it. But again, I think it's okay to have negative feelings, but how you respond to those voices inside your head and ignore them and keep going, I think that's what's most important. And a lot of people have asked what I'm doing next, and I do have a few goals in mind. First thing, in November I'm going to do a challenge, and I'm going to run 100k all at once to raise money for a charity, which I haven't decided which charity yet. I feel like challenging yourself to do something hard is amazing, but I would also like to do something hard not only for myself but for someone else as well. And I think the best way to do that is do 100k, which I've never ran more than 42k before, so it'll definitely be a challenge, but I think doing it for a greater cause will definitely help with the mindset with that. After that, I'm gonna have the rest of the year to just enjoy my training, enjoy Christmas with my family, and then next year I have a goal. I'm gonna do a couple more marathons. I'd love to work towards a sub 3-hour marathon and a sub 10-hour Ironman. I would love to podium at Kona in the next few years. I'd love to be up on that podium. So they're my kind of goals. Usually a few more things will pop up. Knowing me, I'm sure I'll have other small challenges along the way, but also to just enjoy the journey, enjoy some time off, and then go from there. So I'm super excited to share this next chapter with you guys as well. Hopefully you can see me crush it at Kona next time and be up on that podium.